Hi, Jack. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Bitcoin Maximalists. I was scrolling through and I saw Renee Pickhart call out my boy Don Wonton. You're debunking 10 myths of the Lightning Network and you called it fake news. And man, I think it's just necessary to give a truthful and honest opinion, no matter where you stand. I know you're a developer and I'm not, but I know there's just like concrete like truths that I think we can all agree on. So let's get to it.
Hi Roger, hi Craig, hi Bcashers. You have been spreading so many wrong information about the Lightning Network, so many myths. I don't even think it's so necessary because most people just know that these myths are not true.
Who says they're not true?
JP mentioned that the Lightning Network will lead
the Lightning
to
Network will lead to
hubs.
centralized
Gosh,
hubs.
I don't even know where to.
At scale, yeah.
If you look at the World Wide Web, yes, there's also central players in the World Wide Web that are offering their services, for example, Google, Facebook, Amazon. But that doesn't mean that they control the World Wide Web. And in the same way, on the Lightning Network, there might be some routing nodes that are...
You just admitted, like, Google and Amazon and Facebooks are going to come out. Like, that's literally, like, okay, maybe that's, like, 3 companies, but... I mean, do you call that decentralized?
Centrality should be measured on the fee graph. There it's economically reasonable that most people will fight for lower fees to become more central in the fee graph. And being central in the fee graph also does not mean that you're very central in the friendship graph or neighbor graph.
The friendship or neighbor graph. You're talking about the node topology, like the thing behind you? And so if you have a bunch of neighbors, you're higher on the graph? How? You're talking about...
If you want to study this behavior a little bit more, I suggest you to watch this video.
So you pointed to a suggested earn Bitcoin with Lightning routing. Are you serious? That Bosworth guy. Now I need to look him up. Oh, never mind. I don't know why I'm blocked by him. 0.25%. Yeah, it's $25. 10,000 a month, $25. A Casa node costs $300.
But yeah, this centrality myth is easy to debunk.
Wait. You didn't debunk it. You said it was going to centralize, but you just said it's not going to affect the network. If a lot of people are connected to a hub and they force close their channels, all of those people connected to that hub are going to have their money like locked up for, I think it's 24 hours. It's totally a thing.
Rank number 9. Yes, that's the Chinese way of counting. And yes, I'm a nerd. And eCurrency Hodler says that the routing problem can't be solved. This is another great one. Obviously, if you use the Lightning Network nowadays, most of the time you're going to pay people or receive money from people where you don't have a payment channel, which means that routing has taken place, so it already has been solved.
Well,
let's be honest.
You say routing is solved.
It's actually really a difficult problem.
You say it's a difficult problem. Okay, I'll give you the benefit of the
Lightning Network. But if this situation occurs, either your payment is really large or the topology is bad, so you just open a new payment channel. The Lightning Network is there to open payment channels.
Just open a new payment channel, man. Just wait another 30 minutes. Problem solved.
It's not that this problem technically can't be solved. It's just a hard one to solve if we want to keep up with the privacy of the Lightning Network.
But he already said it. Lightning Network is going to be centralized. So if you just have yourself, the hub, and then everybody else is connected to the hub, routing solved. Only 2 hops. Easy, man.
So I'm really, really sorry, but this myth doesn't hold. Rank number 8 by Readmore. There is no good non-custodial Lightning wallets available. I mean, yes, in the very beginning, the Lightning Network was really hard to use. But guess what? In the very beginning, the World Wide Web was hard to use. And Bitcoin was very hard to use. In the very beginning, programmers are happy if they...
It's still the same hardness to use the Lightning Network as it was in the beginning.
Eclair today announced that they're going to have their mobile wallet that is definitely not custodial and that's definitely easy to use, ready on testnet that is able to send and receive Bitcoin. Or if you have your...
did you hear that? You can finally receive on the best non-custodial Lightning wallet coming soon. I call myself a power user, okay? I don't dev, I don't write code, I don't even like copy pasting code, but I use it. I use the Lightning Network. When it first came out on Satoshi's place, I would help do the white paper in the corner. Trust me, I think the Lightning Network has its uses, but it's not a scaling solution. And so I'm honest what the Lightning Network can and cannot do. I know on the Eclair wallet, if I wanted to onboard somebody to the Eclair wallet, how long does it take for them to receive BTC and then send the Lightning Network? So they'd download their wallet, they'd have to send BTC to that wallet, to Eclair, wait 3 confirmations, and then they could open a channel 3 confirmations. And so those 3 confirmations are each 30 minutes. And so it takes a whole hour to onboard somebody to just send some coins on the Lightning Network. And it's just user experience.
Or if you have your C Lightning node and LND node set up,
run your own node. I don't think that should even be a discussion. If we're talking worldwide adoption, not everybody's going to run their own node. I got a okay MacBook. Like, I don't want to run a node on it. I have no incentive to. I know people that do have incentives to run a full nodes, like certain payment processors or exchanges, but I'm not running a node. Why is that the solution on the Lightning Network? It shouldn't be.
But the myth says you need to have a channel to every merchant that you want to pay.
Yeah, that's a myth.
Obviously, less transactions will be on the blockchain, but on the other side, payment channels are going to be very useful, so people might even be willing to pay more in order to have a payment channel. Remember last time when the fees were high and you had to pay $50 for a transaction, nobody would do this. Payment channels on the Lightning Network, however, it might make sense to open a payment channel for $50 because you could use it for routing and you could earn fees back, so people might even be willing to pay higher fees. You know, nobody can read the future, so this myth is just pure speculation.
Yeah. This dude just said people might be willing to pay $50 to open a payment channel. Nobody wants to pay $50 for something that should be nearly free. That's just, yeah, you can't tell the future, but you can look at the past and have an educated guess at what will happen. Like, of course the fees are going to go up. And no, people are just going to not use BTC.
Bitcoin was politically about one thing. I think it was about freedom. If people take their liberty in order to use Bitcoin in this way to form the Lightning Network, just for God's sake, let them do this.
Hey, we're not stopping you, man. We're just setting the record straight. We know Bitcoin's permissionless. It's just, we just know the Lightning Network's not the scaling solution.
Rank number 4 by Xavier Solar. The funds are locked in channels. You have funds in a Lightning channel. They can actually move around pretty freely through the Lightning Network.
Yes.
They become pretty liquid. So I would even go as far as saying it's the other way around. Funds that are in a regular Bitcoin wallet, they are locked because it's hard to move them on the blockchain, especially if more and more people start to use Bitcoin. Whereas if you have funds in this special 2 out of 2 multi-signature wallet that is
okay, this guy says it's hard to move your Bitcoin on the blockchain. They're locked in there. This is because of the 1 megabyte block size limit. Everybody knows this. This is fact. It's just insane. The core devs kept this 1 megabyte block limit in place. And so there was literally only set amount of transactions that can go into every block. And then begins his bidding war to get into the next block. He's like, oh, I need to get to the exchange quick. I'm going to pay a $10 fee. Oh, I need to get quicker. It's pumping more. I'm going to pay a $20 fee. And it went up to $50 in December. And this will happen again. This will only not happen again if Bitcoin becomes less popular. And that is not happening. Fees should just always be cheap. The only reason he's talking about it is because he's talking about Bitcoin BTC. Bitcoin Cash doesn't have this problem. So I don't even like, just having fees be an issue is just like, how is that even like a talking point? I don't know. It's like, and yes, I will say, transaction on the Lightning Network, it will be cheaper than on the blockchain. But say on Bitcoin Cash, fees are like 1 Satoshi per byte, which is like probably like a 20th, 30th, 50th of a cent or something tiny. And Lightning Network is like a Satoshi. You still have to consider the on-chain transaction fees from when you open the channel, it's a transaction, and when you close the channel, it's a transaction. So you have to pay on both of those transaction fees. Saying Bitcoin is locked on the blockchain it's such a way to turn people off of blockchain, right? But that's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is blockchain. And Lightning Network is second layer. Yes, the Lightning Network is very liquid, and it can do high frequency trading really fast and for very cheap. But that's really its use case. It's
my favorite one is by Buzz Lightyear, who stated that the Lightning Trust Chain
the Ellen
torch
Trust
is
Chain,
going to be used in the Olympics.
Where they were passing around a torch of Lightning BTC on Twitter. There are a bunch of people, and Jack got it. It's just like a show of marketing. We've had tip bots on Twitter forever, and much more user-friendly. That doesn't have all the back end that you need to actually create a Lightning wallet or an invoice, especially. You just plug it in and go. What a marketing stunt, huh?
about Blockstream, where people say the Lightning Network is a conspiracy by Blockstream in order to destroy the trademark of Bitcoin. I mean, obviously there is no trademark of Bitcoin. Yes, while it's true that many Bitcoin core developers are working for Blockstream or have been co-founders of Blockstream, Blockstream as well as Lightning Labs provides developer time to improve the open source protocol. But that doesn't mean that the Lightning Network is owned by them. And really, it makes me personally angry if people tell me that I fall for this stupid conspiracy. Because, I mean, I'm a technical person. I can read the protocol. I can decide if the protocol makes sense and if it's useful. And then I can make an educated decision if I want to contribute.
Renee, I know you're a super smart guy. I don't think you're doing anything to purposely harm anything. It is an open source protocol, yes. I don't think anybody owns the Lightning Network, but I do know that Blockstream crippled the base layer blockchain, and you could call that really straw manning. You say, when you start out with, hey, Bcashers, it's really disingenuous. I think the Lightning Network is pretty cool, actually. Speaking of, I can't wait for it to come to Bitcoin Cash. In May, they're implementing Schnorr signatures. Schnorr signatures, Schnorr. Which means that they will fix transaction malleability, which means you can do these smart contract type things like the Lightning Network is. And so theoretically, the Lightning Network can come to Bitcoin Cash coming in May as well. And so, again, I'm not against second layers at all. I just think that crippling the block size is crippling the whole ecosystem. And I think the Lightning Network would probably actually work better on Bitcoin Cash because you don't have to worry about those on-chain fees when you open and close channels.
Fabian says it's feature complete and ready for mass adoption. I don't see any people stating this, but I think it's important to emphasize on this. It's far away from being feature complete and ready for mass adoption. Actually, I think it's a little bit scary that most people are already so keen about the Lightning Network that they're trying to use it all the time because there's still quite some features missing. And the more users we have, the harder it will be to upgrade the Lightning Network later on. I mean, this is what we saw with Bitcoin at some point in time. So yes, it's not ready for mass adoption yet. It's not feature complete. We are just working on Bolt 1.1 in order to have a better specification. And
okay, man, you say it's not ready. It's pushed as the scaling solution for Bitcoin. I don't know what BTC's plan is to scale if it's not the Lightning Network, which you say is not ready. And so it's like, just keep waiting 18 more months and all of the scaling problems will be solved, you know? All right, Renee, maybe look into implementing Lightning onto Bitcoin Cash. But there's not really a demand since we can already do microtransactions on chain. So I don't know if you know this, but I was just talking to one of my friends. He had a Casa node, actually, and the hard drive failed on him. And he did not back up the most recent channel state. And he had his wallet words. He had his 12 words. But to keep your channel, you need to back up the channel state every time it changes. And so instead of pasting a single file as a backup, this file has to be updated every time a transaction is received or sent in a channel. And so he did not have this file. And so he could not recover his channels. And so theoretically, his money is still in the channels, but he cannot access it unless he reaches out to the parties that he's connected to force close his channels. And so, of course, this can just be a user experience type of thing, and that the Lightning Network is so new. But again, when problems like this happen, I know he has a lot of money locked in those channels. When things like this happen, it's amazing to see somebody like Jack tweeting about it and saying it's the new like cool thing, you know? It's far from mass adoption. So the way it's marketed, they're making it seem like it's finished and it's ready to ship. And you admit that it's not. And so it's interesting. Maybe there was some vested interests that want to push this second layer solution rather than using the blockchain. Just thought we'd clear some myths about the Lightning Network out here. Thanks for watching.